everyone. I'm Paula Cook from Millersburg United Methodist Church. Thanks for joining me on Midweek Boost. This week, as I was preparing for my message on Sunday, I was reading in Joshua, the 3rd chapter. And in Joshua chapter 3, we discover that Joshua is leading God's people, and they're headed into the promised land. And they come to the point where they need to cross the Jordan River. And the scripture tells us that there comes a point in which Joshua is talking with God. And God gives instruction that their people are to break camp and they're to come together. But those who are to be in front of the line are the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant. And the scripture tells us in Joshua chapter 3, verse 15, "Now the Jordan is at flood stage all during harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It was piled up in a heap, a great distance away, at a town called Adam in the vicinity of Zarenth, while the water flowing down to the sea of Arabah, the salt sea, was completely cut off." So, the people crossed over opposite Jericho. The priest who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, while all Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing on dry ground. I love that passage because the key here is that in obedience, the priest took one step into the water's edge. Right as they were touching the water's edge and their feet touched the water, the river stopped flowing. Now that takes faith. Faith to walk into a place where the water is at its highest and no one knows what will happen. But because God gave the instruction, the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant were willing to move forward. Is there something right now that God is inviting you or calling you to do, and you're hesitant or you're fearful? Do you realize that taking one step of obedience can make all the difference in the world? Here was the obstacle, the Jordan River, the highest point during harvest. It's a huge obstacle. It's a challenge for the people to get across. And yet, when they were obedient and the priest put their feet at the water edge, the water stopped flowing and God's people moved through on dry ground. I want you to be encouraged today by that. Take a step in faith. You don't know what will happen when you do, but you do know this, that if you are walking in the faithfulness that God has called you to walk into, and you're walking in obedience to Him, when you take that first step, God will help you to take the next step and the one after that. My friends, sometimes we need to live in faith over fear. Sometimes we need to move into obedience and not be afraid of what's ahead of us. Be encouraged today. Take one step and see where the next step will lead you as you allow God to lead you across your Jordan River. Be blessed today and be encouraged because each one of us is called to put faith over fear. Have a great day and join me again next week for Midweek Boost. Blessings to you.